A new threat to the Second Amendment. Our next guest says a United Nations small arms treaty is actually an end run around our Constitution and should be rejected by every American. Joining us now is Tom Kilgannon. He's president of the Freedom Alliance. He's also the author of Diplomatic Divorce: Why America Should End Its Love Affair with the United Nations. Good to have you with us.
Great to be on, Lou.
This small arms treaty, this would really be an attempt to get around our Constitution, the Second Amendment? I mean, how would that work?
Oh, sure it would be, because this is an international agreement that is very broad and overreaching, and what it is trying to do is to regulate the manufacture, the ownership, the possession of conventional firearms, big and small. But not only that, it would also reach into other aspects of the manufacturing, the technology, the related parts and equipment that are all part of the firearms industry. Secondly, it would also create an international bureaucracy that would adjudicate and enforce the provisions of the treaty.
I mean, that's just perfect. I mean, if you can, at once stomp on the U.S. Constitution, simultaneously create a bureaucracy, you've got to, the left would have to be in absolute heaven here. The NRA says that the treaty would also require a manufacturer of shotguns, just regular shotguns, civilian shotguns, to comply with the same regulatory process as combat attack helicopters.
That's right, and there are some countries, the United States, Japan, and Canada, that are trying to write in specific exemptions for hunting and sporting shotguns and other firearms, and that tells you the kind of the lack of confidence that some of these folks have in the treaty's provisions or their disdain for the right to keep and bear arms, not only in the U.S. but throughout the world.
All right, now this treaty has to be ratified by the Senate, does it not?
It would have to be, yes. What'll happen is this is going to come to a head next summer in 2012, and this administration is likely to sign it, and then it would go to the Senate for ratification, which would require 2/3. But there are already many of the senators have expressed their opposition or concern about this treaty. And what I find unfortunate, Lou, is that the founding fathers have weighed in on this, the courts have ruled, and the American people have spoken out on their desire to have the right to keep and bear arms. And yet this president goes to the United Nations to try and get their help to overturn the will of the American electorate.
If he comes with this treaty and signs it next summer in the midst of an election, whatever his poll numbers are, that will mean that he took absolutely nothing from history, political history, and that is what happened in 1994 after President Clinton went after so-called assault weapons in this country. It was a disaster for the Democratic Party. Would he not have learned something?
This president fancies himself as a citizen of the world, but he took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And the President of the United States does not have the luxury of being a cafeteria constitutionalist. He has to protect the whole document, not just those provisions with which he likes, and he has to do all of that, including the Second Amendment.
And I think we also could put it another way, if I may, Tom. American citizens don't have the luxury of being absentee and passive citizens any longer. We're working against too many varied forces that would remove the Constitution from our nation. And this is just one example of precisely that effort on a very large, even global scale. Tom Kilgannon, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate your vigilance. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.